Okay. All right. So today, what we're going to be rolling out and working on are the trapezius muscles and what else are we doing? Oh yeah, side neck and also iliacus into the pelvis, which affects the legs. Very powerful. They really affect our posture extensively. So the trapezius muscle starts right about where the base of the rib cage starts. So it's kind of when the bony area finishes, it attaches to those vertebrae up there. It actually attaches all the way up the vertebrae, but that's kind of the beginning of the lower part. And then it runs up on a diagonal across the shoulder blade up to the top, and it attaches into the back of the shoulder blade up here across, and also into the front of the collarbone. So it's kind of a big attachment up there, or insertion. I can never remember what's attachment and what's insertion, but where it starts and where it ends. And then the other side is right at the top of the neck, next to the spine, and also going next to the spine, and also going a little bit out, and then running down like a band, again, attaching at the top here, and it also is holding the rest of the vertebra in there. So it's really, I like to think of the trapezius like a diamond shape, and it's very key for supporting the rib cage to be upright, supporting the shoulder blades on the back, and of course, allowing the shoulders to have length and the neck to be vertical. So it affects shoulder problems. People have shoulder problems. It can often be the trapezius. Massively our neck falls forward. Our shoulders hike up. This is a chronic shape we all live with right now because the trapezius are too short and in spasm per se. So opening them, lengthening them, restoring their full function so that they actually support the skeleton correctly can give a lot of relief and a lot of freedom to the upper part of the spine. If you think with the area of the spine that goes from the shoulder blades up to the neck can get very rigid. We can get very tight there and collapse. We get tight shoulders, and it's hard to breathe and expand in that area, all because of the trapezius is gripping and holding and kind of rigidifying with adhesion. So it's a big area that can change many things. So I recommend doing it with a gold ball, but keep a black ball nearby so you can choose to see which ball works for you. So we're going to feel for the bottom of the rib cage, which is really quite low. So just feel where your kind of bony area ends and your waist area starts. If you start and feel where the waist is, then you can wiggle back and see where the bones end. And that's where you want your ball to be, because the ball's going to span above and below it. So you want to lay in so you feel your spinal column and the structure of the ribs on that side, and just kind of put some pressure into this area because we're stimulating. Remember, every time where the muscle starts, where it connects into the bone is what we want to stimulate and really create pressure, because that gets stuck and dry and rigid, and then the rest of the muscle is no longer getting full spectrum of energy. So you want to press into the ball. As you breathe in, really imagine the breath going right into where that area. So you're creating space on the inside, you're creating space in the muscle and in the bone and in the tendon. And as you breathe out, you relax into it. Maybe you hold your head, it's up to you, whatever you feel good. You want to relax, but not fall down. That's not the purpose. Pressing into it, stimulating all that structure. Breathing in, breathing out. Sometimes I stay down here, and as I breathe in, I make space with my intention. My breath goes right into that area. I literally push into the ball And as I breathe out, I imagine the whole area softening and letting go. Roll a little bit up, still tracking the side of the spine and the ribs. So you're keeping in mind that you have a floating rib there. You don't want to roll out fully into it. So we're just going up a little bit. Breath in, keep pressure into the ball. Breathing out, sinking. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out, lengthening and widening. Now, very slightly, I'm beginning to rotate. So I'm going a little bit out towards the side. So I'm in the rib cage now. Breath in, breath out. I'm tracking the shaft. You probably feel your shoulder blade, the underside of the shoulder blade. Breathing in, breathing out, and press your hips down and go a little bit more out. It's like you're pressing the shoulder blade up a little bit. So you're just angling into that side area because we're just moving now the kind of the direction the muscle goes. Breathe in and breathe out into it. Really sinking out. I'm just going to keep myself a little bit lower, flatter to really create that compression into the muscles. Then coming back and come back, bring the ball back to the spinal column where you started and roll it up a little bit. So actually let's start pressing to the side of the spine, right at the end of the rib cage, and then roll up. And here we go again. Pressing in, I'm literally lengthening my back and breathing out, sinking in, pushing pressure, and also relaxing, just spreading that whole area. Breathing in, breathing out, pressing down, lengthening, opening that area. Breathing in and breathing out, moving up on a slight diagonal. So now I'm coming up towards my shoulder blade. Breath in, breath out. As I do this, I'm using the hand on the floor to slightly angle this way. I'm lifting the other shoulder up. So I'm grabbing the tissue of my back and the muscles and widening it a little bit, creating a wider structure for that trapezius. Breathing out. So you keep your own breath happening as it feels right for you, because this whole journey is extremely personal. You want to really, really, really get in touch with what's going on in your body and how this muscle shape and design is affecting your whole skeleton. Move up a little bit more. So now I'm coming up, I'm literally on the side of my shoulder blade. So the shoulder blade is into the back. I'm pressing it in a little bit more by rotating further, breathing in, breathing out, pressing in, maybe relaxing further down into it, breathing in, pressing into the ball, and that's why, and then relaxing. That's why I like these balls that you can inflate and deflate. Having more softness actually allows for the body to press into the ball more deeply, not just the ball to press into the body. Makes a huge synergy that's very effective. Moving further up, come right up towards the top of your shoulder blade. So we're going to have a little bit further, but you should be on your shoulder blade now and roll a little bit more into the outside of it. Breath in, breathing out, pressing. Now as I press down, I'm trying to push the shoulder blade into the back area rather than up off to the side, just with a little bit of pressure. So I'm grabbing the outer section of the shoulder blade and breathing in and breathing out, pressing into that shoulder blade a little bit more. Now I'm moving up. The ball is right up towards the top of the shoulder blade. It's coming to the top of the shoulder. It's not right on top, but it's in the back part. So we're coming into what's called the insertions, I think. Breathing in, Breathing out, pressing and releasing into this area. Breathing in. Now, any places that you feel really sensitive, it's very personal. You want to back off on the pressure. Maybe just practice relaxing and releasing, getting in touch with what your holding pattern is. So the more times you repeat these routines, the body just gets letting go more and more. The texture of the muscles restore more and more to health. And there's a continuing, how can I say? There's just an evolution to the whole thing, that the body keeps upgrading and upgrading and upgrading and upgrading. You release one area, another area opens, and so forth. So you go last time all the way in, and then come back. And our last one up on this side is right up below the, just by the shoulder blade area. We're going to have that diagonal going up. So pressing in, breathing in, pressing into it. And again, pressing in. I'm literally using my legs and my chest to get even more pressure into there because it just feels deliciously good. And pressing in. And if you can, your ball allows you to get a sense of how do I get those bones in the back to start to move if the muscle's not so stuck and rigidified. So now start moving out towards the top of the shoulder blade. Breathing out, pressing into the ball. Breathing out, pressing into the ball and rolling just a little bit further over towards the top. That's why the bigger ball is more useful, I think. Breathing out, and I'm almost cradling into the top. Just a little bit. We're going to get seriously into the top when we go the other way around. Into it. Now, roll off the ball. And our next one will be right at the top where the neck connects in with your scalp. So you have the bones of the neck going down. And then if you track, so here's my neck, the bones of my spine going down the middle, but then there's a width here that eventually go to the side and towards the ear. So we're catching this part. So starting out, get your head on the ball. It's on the side. Because it's a bigger ball, it kind of cocoons the whole area. And also see if you can bring your chin down and get a sense of really pushing into the bottom of the skull and into the spine, because that's where everything attaches. So here I'm grabbing my own ball and slightly pushing it this way to create traction in that tight area. I'm also using by lifting my hips up, I can get leverage to push even more deeply into the ball. So I'm opening and stimulating the bones and the tendons where the trapezius muscle attaches. Now I'm putting my hips down and let's breathe in. I'm pressing into the ball, breathing out, lengthening down. Breathing in, breathing out, pressing into the ball. And one more time, in and out. And now I am beginning to, I roll the ball out to the side. So it's really kind of halfway between the spine and my ear. So slight shift. Pressing in there, again, making length. Breathing out. Whoa, now I can feel my neck and head really separating a little bit. Breathing out and really allowing the pressure to create an opening right up high there. Breathing out, and now I'm rolling onto my side, digging into the ball and starting to roll down towards the side of the shoulder. This is, so I'm kind of rolling down the side of my neck. It's touching my shoulder here. I can feel a lot of tension because I hold tension here. Breathing in, a lot of tight, hard muscle. Breathing out, and I'm slightly pressing my head in. Breathing in. If it's very intense for you, don't press in too much. Just rest on the ball. Adjust so there's a place you have to discover how to relax. An area that may be in spasms and short for years. Breathing in, breathing out. Now, before we move further, get a sense, are you in a straight line? Because maybe your head is way forward. Maybe you're like this, and we want to kind of start to wake up the muscles so that the body gets back to a vertical line. So get a sense of it. And if you can adjust yourself, you can't really look, but maybe you can feel this straightness. You want your head be encouraged to be on top. Now, see if you can very slightly roll forward, because the trapezius runs around the side, and push back again. So I rolled, I'll do it on this side. I rolled a little bit forward, and then I grabbed the tissue of the neck and I pushed it back. So I hope that gives you a clue, because if our head is forward a lot and gotten tight, all the muscle adhesions have kind of gripped with a forward pattern. So see if you can stay back, and now roll down right into the top of the shoulder area. So you're riding the band where the muscle is, and possibly into where it goes toward the front. It connects into the collarbone area. So check that this arm isn't pulled forward. Can you get the elbow back again? Because we want this muscle wide. This is where it can get really tight for people. So let's do a few breaths here. Breathing out. See if you can get in touch with what's it going to take to relax and let go and allow the tissue to open. Breathing in. Breathing out, allowing the neck to unwind, the face to unwind, the skull to unwind. Breathing in. Big breath in here into this whole area. Breathing out, relax. Really let everything sink. So we're riding with the focus into the side of the neck in the front of the collarbone, right up. Push a little bit further up, so you're getting right up where the collarbone attaches to, it's the end of the collarbone, you could say. So you want all of that. Now, if you grab your head, you can gently stretch it over. As you breathe in, if you want to, if it's not too extreme, you take the head and lift it. So you're kind of anchoring where that muscle ends, and you're stretching the head, moving the head away from it, and breathing out. Breathing in, lifting the head a little bit. The force of the pressure into the ball is pressing the shoulder down. Breathing out. Sandy, I don't know why you keep, I think you're unmuted, and I can't mute you from here, and that's why you keep popping up every time you have a heavy breath. You can mute yourself, it will help. And breathe out. Now, press down and roll a little bit more. I'm not good at this, and this is enough for me, but you can actually lift your hips up to get more pressure into the area. For my body, it's too much right now. I'm quite happy to stay here because I have a lot of tightness in there. And gently rock, easy micro movements back and forth. That's just in case somebody in the, maybe Arlene is super, ready for the more intense type of stretch. I have no idea. Now, we will have one more journey from the neck down, because the focus of this was into the front of the collarbone. Now we'll go into the top back of the shoulder blade, because it's all this whole top area. And Renee, I hope you're using a block for this part, because this is the part I was thinking you need height to get in there. So I trust you're being creative. So we go back to the top of the neck and just feel that area, top side of the neck, where it's connecting into the skull. And then roll a little bit out. We did that before. Now from this place, really hook up. Try to get, in fact, if you take your skull and you pull it a little bit forward and drag your hips downwards and even drag the shoulder down, you can probably really feel where that muscle is starting and connecting into the skull, because that's usually tight for most people. So let's just take a moment and visit this area. Breathing out. I find if I slightly turn my face, I can really get into that area in my own body. And again, breathing in, lengthening and opening and releasing exactly where that muscle starts, connects into the bone, and then begins its journey down. Now, here we go. From that point, we're rolling down again into the side of the neck. So just pause here. Breathing out, pressing into the ball. Breathing in, lengthening a little bit. Breathing out, pressing into the ball. And one last time, breathing in and breathing out. So from this point on, the journey will be the same, but the focus is into the back part. With a very slight micro shift, a little bit less rolls of going on to the side. Let's pause here because we can all deal with it. And you want to be aiming towards the kind of more fatty, it's not fatty, but the tissue of the muscle that comes from the shoulder blade and becomes the top. You're aiming right into that area. It can be very congested and harsh for people. So let's take a breath in here. And as we breathe out, we press. The ball is going down, back of the shoulder blade, top of the shoulder, and lengthen in. Breathing in, lifting. The ball is going down, the head is lengthening up. Breathing out, pressing into this area. One more time, breathing in. And breathing out and lengthening out. And then continue to the top of the shoulder, but you're aiming it to the back. So you want to feel top of the shoulder and the back of the shoulder blade. That's your aim. Breath in, breath out, sinking. Breath in, breath out. I can definitely feel that this is an area I need to visit many times to unwind all those tight years of gripping in this part of my body. And I definitely notice, take a moment here, just do anything. A lot of heat is coming up in my body. So I know a lot of circulation is being opened up. So I'm definitely the kind of person that for years my shoulders used to ride up when I was in a state of tension. So come off your ball, take a moment, lie down, see how your body feels, and just check in, because that can be an intense routine for many people. The shoulder and the neck and the head can always use some releasing. And your head movement should be better. How the shoulders sit on the spine should be better. A lot of shoulder and arm problems get relief from this. And just for a minute, come to a sitting position and see what you feel like. Just check in. I personally feel lots more space. The shoulder definitely looks considerably lower, and it's usually chronically more high. So you just check in for yourself. If you can see yourself in a mirror, it's kind of fun, but if you don't, it doesn't matter. The feeling of what your body's going through is the most important thing, so you can anchor it in. So we will start our journey now to the other side. So whichever side you didn't do, let's start at the bottom. Again, feel where our ribs end, just feel around your waist and where the ribs begin. and go in towards the spine in your own body, and then get that ball cradled into the side of the spine, right where the ribs start. So in this position, you want the pressure in, breathing in, breathing out. Now, as you do the out breath, you can also have a very subtle intention to roll this way, which allows the muscle to widen from the spine. So it's very subtle, it's more of an intention. But when you have a ball that you can sink into, you can have this minor, subtle pressures that help inspire the muscle to go in the direction we're wanting it to, which is release and expanse and more space. And breathing out, really begin. Roll up a bit, and again, that intention to be moving out. Big breath in, breathing out, pressing into the ribs, widening the muscle, feeling the area start to breathe. As you breathe in, press into the ball. So you're also teaching your ribs and your lungs to back breathe. A lot of people can't sigh and back breathe in their lungs because of restrictions in the structure. So we start to free up all of this. And then you roll a little bit more up, a little bit more out, a little bit more to the side. So start to create that widening. You're going right under the shoulder blade. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. As I slightly rotate, I can literally feel the shaft of the muscle. Breathing in, breathing out, letting that muscle get longer, more wide, more open. And then lifting, coming back, finding the spine and rolling up a little bit. So one of the interesting things with this body of work is that we work from where the muscle starts and to where it ends. We never work the reverse. So I know in massage or in lots of different foam rolling routines, you're kind of going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. We work more or less most of the time one directionally to teach and remind the muscle its full structure. It kind of creates more of a confusion when you do the other form. So, deepening in the breath, pressing, breathing in, pressing, stimulating the beginnings of the muscle, right? We're stimulating the bone and the tendon and removing adhesions from the connective tissue and from the texture of the whole muscle shaft. And then we roll further out, away from the spine. Maybe we're touching the spine, but the focus of the pressure is more towards the shoulder blade now. Breathing in, breathing out. I'm slightly angling this way to get width. You can even move your bottom if it helps. Breathing out, widening and sinking. And one more time, breathing in. Breathing out, widening. Even if I pull my shoulders up a little bit, I get more length. And now going up towards the shoulder blade. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. And lengthening over, getting that shoulder blade and high ribs even longer, tractioning the spine a bit, or the rib cage, the whole trunk. We want length in that trunk. And then coming off, and that's what I meant. We don't roll back necessarily. We roll off and come now higher up, just below the shoulder blades. So against the spine. So first I find the spinal column and the side ribs connected to the spinal column, and I put pressure in there. So breath in, breath out. As I put pressure, I slightly angle the tissue away from the spine. Breath in, breath out. Breath in. Breath out. Roll up and a little bit out. So we're aiming towards the shoulder blade proper. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. And again, breath in. And breath out. And roll right up onto the shoulder blade. Feeling for the top of it. So if I lean back a little bit, there it is. Breathing in, breathing out. So the high part of the shoulder blade has something called a wing. You can even roll a little bit more to the side if that feels better for you. I like to stay on the full shoulder blade. Breath in, breath out. And one more time. Breath out, and I'm just wiggling my hips away and pushing my shoulder blade upwards so I can feel, I literally can feel the effect radiating into my pecs and arm, because as that area is opening, it's asking these other muscle groups to start to release their tension. Just so wonderful. Big dividends from this. And I'm very slightly pushing outwards away from the middle of the shoulder blade towards the outer corner of the shoulder blade. Oh, that feels delicious. Very good. Now we get the ball right between the shoulder blades on the side. So putting pressure into here, pressing into the shoulder blade. Now I'm taking my head back a little bit, looking to get that area of the back mobile. It can get very rigidified. The area between the shoulder blades, the ribs, going up to the top of the shoulder blades is really rigid in the spine, in the rib cage, and very often can build up a kind of a hump-like shape. So we want to start to remove adhesions, restore the breath and the ability of that part of the body to move. And then, here we go, rolling out right towards the top of the shoulder blade, widening it. This is where, if I take this arm, I can create more width. It's like I feel the shoulder blade and into the back of the arm, the pressure and the widening there. If this arm is extended, I can feel the effect of this radiating all the way out to my fingers. And breathing out, keeping this breath going, working in your own speed. And out. So we've gotten all the way up to the back. And now take the ball and place it first on the side of the skull at the top. So you want to feel that side of your spine on the side and the top. So you have like a corner. How can I put it? The spine is coming up into the head, and then the head goes, you know, both sides. So you want to feel that T shape, but on one side of the T, you could say. So take a moment. You want to stretch the shoulders down from there, because that's the whole band, the upper band of the trapezius muscle. This is probably where it gets more dramatic. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, press into the ball. I like to wiggle my body away from the ball to really put the pressure. So the attachment is the base of the skull, sides of the neck, right in there. Breathing in, breathing out. Looking to get as much space in that area as you can. Breathing in. And breathing out, and then moving a little bit to the side, just a little bit. Scruffy's come to help me. So you want to feel how the head is coming up. Hello, Scruffy. Breathing in, breathing out. If you take your hand, you stretch it down. You can pull this whole shaft. Breath in, breath out. He's my little love bug. Breathing in. Thank you, Scruffy. Breathing out, widening my shoulder down to create more traction. And here we go. Now we start to roll onto the side. Oh, you can't be in front of the camera. That's the only thing. You're very helpful, but no camera hiding. The tail has to go. So side of the neck, right? Breathing out. Now turn my head a little bit. I'm taking my hand back. Now, this can be tricky. If your shoulder is bony or you're uncomfortable, place the arm where it works for you. You don't want to feel really heavy pressure, but if you can get your arm back, it's better because we're trying to create a line on the lateral side. So digging into the side of the neck, we're aiming frontally this time. So you want to go down the side of the neck and feel it pushing into the top and the front of your collarbones, right in there. Breath in, breath out, really using my feet to create pressure, pushing the shoulders down. Breath in, breath out. Now I'm starting to add pressure with my hand over there. Breath in, lifting my head a little bit so the pressure of the ball really presses the shaft of the muscle down. And breathing out. Very good. Now rolling a little bit more up. I'm going that way with my feet and the ball is pushing my shoulders way down. Now I'm definitely feeling the shaft of the muscle. Breathing in, breathing out, rolling the collarbones downwards. Breathing in, lifting my head. I'm very little movement now. Breathing out, stretching over. One more time, breathing in, breathing out, and rolling now a little bit further. So I'm aimed into my collarbone and the top of the shoulder. And now I've gotten to that point where it's kind of closer to the outside. So I'm just pressing into that area. Big breath in, big breath out. Slight micro movements here. So much tension. A lot of adhesions can build up on that sideline for many people. Maybe not everybody, maybe not you, but most people have a big story going on. And a little bit more down, pushing that shoulder down, pushing the collarbone down, lengthening. Remember, if you want to lift your hips a bit, you can aim even more pressure into the ball. It's up to you. You can feel the whole pull in the front of my neck. Definitely affecting a lot of aspects of muscles in my neck. Oh, yes. And then coming off, and our last one, going into the back part, down the same journey, but now we're aiming to the back part of the shoulder, going to the shoulder blade. So get the ball right at the top of the skull. Feel your spine and the top of the skull. You probably can get even more length kicking in here. And roll the ball a little bit out again and take the shoulders and really pull them down. So you get that nice stretch of that band of muscle. I can literally, because it's so tight on me, if I put my hand here, I can feel the muscle being pulled into a taut shape. So this is anatomy, experiential anatomy that we are doing right now. So now start rolling down, big breath. Breathing out, breathing in, pulling the arm down, breathing out, rolling a little bit more onto the side. Now we're going into the back part. So not so much onto the side, just kind of tracking the back line a little bit. Breathing in, breathing out. I like to start doing this movement with the head, because there's so much congestion. Breathing out. One more time. Big breath. Standing the head over and now rolling into the back of the, so I'm hitting the top of the shoulder and the top of the shoulder blade and traction in that area. right in there, wiggling around till you really find that you're on the right point. If you're not sure, it doesn't matter. Breathing in because you're in the vicinity. The body knows what to do with all of this pressure. Breath in, breath out. Last one. Breath in and breath out. And now come off the ball. And again, just lying down. Feel your body. Feel your shoulders. My shoulders feel wham, out to the side. Completely flat, no tension, no restriction. My neck actually feels lovely. If you turn your head from side to side, see what it feels like. I hope it feels a lot looser and less restricted. And then just sit up for a minute and see what it feels like. How does your spine feel? How does your rib cage feel? How do your shoulders feel? How does your neck feel? Just kind of check in and see. And again, it's always a point of reflecting and noticing. The more you can become a master of noticing subtle qualities and self-awareness, you can spring tune, you can spring cleanse yourself on a regular basis. So one last thing with the trapezius, now that we've done both sides, again with the bigger ball, this is a lovely one once you've kind of opened up the shaft. We take the ball and we place it in the middle. So let's just follow along with me. I think you'll be able to manage it. Actually, I'm going to turn it this way so I don't have to twist my head. So the ball is cradled just the same way we did it before. Top of the spine into the top of the skull. And the goal is the same. We want to take our hands and just gently put pressure into the ball up to lengthen that occipital bone, that area where the skull connects in. And then wiggle your shoulders down. So you have this huge traction in the back of the neck. Your hands are going to come down and really wiggle them down as much as you can. And get your feet up close because we're going to do a bridge here. Now, as you go up, imagine someone pushing your shoulders down. This is a hands-on stretch that you can do. I do with clients or students if I'm working with them. Pre-COVID, quarantine lockdown. So shoulders are down and then lift your hips up and wiggle your hands away from towards your feet. And then use your feet to stretch your neck even more. So it's really a lovely, lovely opening of the neck. Get those shoulders as far away from you as you can. Hold the position. Take a breath in. Breathe into that area. And as you breathe out, just slowly lower yourself down. Lower yourself down. Lower yourself down, lower yourself down. So you did a beautiful stretch into the whole upper shaft of the trapezius. Now, roll up on the ball. So the ball's running the whole band of your neck. So the whole 7 vertebrae are being supported. Maybe your shoulders are no longer flat because the angle is different. You've taken the curve. If you can, you want to feel from the bottom, from number 7 all the way up to the skull. And now we'll take the forehead. So now we're kind of restoring the curve, you could say. Gently press your forehead so my chin is coming up a little bit. So press and lift and then use your feet to push into the neck because bones need pressure. It's very therapeutic. So just feel the curve of the neck. It's not a nice long curve. And gently, gently move from side to side. So you're stimulating both sides of the neck area. The whole cervical spine is getting pressure. And very slightly push down towards number 7, the bottom. So you're working the full band of the neck. And if you go from side to side, you're gently stimulating the beginnings of the trapezius muscles because they get attached to the skull and then the sides of the bones of the neck. And then bring the hands down. Just feel your neck for a minute. This should feel very sedative and very relaxed because you've opened your neck up so powerfully. Now, be attentive. We'll take our head off. You do not want to strain your neck muscles right now because they've worked a lot. So take one hand and get it under your skull. And then you will take the other hand, take the ball and put your head on the floor. But don't use muscles of the neck. Just put your head down. And just lie here for a minute. Let the nervous system restore itself and kind of settle in before you move. And when you come up to sitting, don't sit up with your stomach muscle. Literally roll to one side and push up. Just for a minute so the neck isn't strained before you it deals with gravity again. And then when you sit, see what it feels like. See if you can get a sense of the weight of the skull going right down on the shoulders instead of forward, because we usually hold our skull forward. And what the feeling in the neck is, just gentle movement. And you can turn your head without straining side to side to see what that feels like for you. Feel free and relaxed and easy, a few circles of the nose around. So now we're just kind of bringing back all the muscle functions, but without aggression or without trying to do the max. We're actually doing a very gentle movement to restore kind of all the connective aspects. And very slight side to side. Just nice and easy, nothing strong, nothing for a stretch, or just for gentle activation. Very good. All right. I love that routine. It's very intense, but it's a good one. So now let's work into the iliacus. The iliacus is the part of the psoas. What's it called? I don't remember. But you have your psoas, which is a great big, iliopsoas. Iliopsoas. There it is. So the psoas is a big muscle that gets into your thighs. Iliopsoas is also there. It starts and attaches. The beginnings of it is all around the top of the pelvis. So you have this bony area and then coming up to the top. That's where it begins. It attaches into this bony structure and then comes down and then rolls into your adductors right in there. So it's coming down into the leg muscle. So it's very key for posture, for the pelvis, and for hip movement. If it's too tight, it pulls the hips up. It can, and it can also it's very key for the legs to turn in and out. So if you're one of those people that the legs don't move very well, you don't have much outward rotation, this can be very key. So the journey will be up, that we'll do this twice on each side. You're going to go a little bit up from this area to stimulate, then you come down, so we're still on the bone, and then we roll into the tissue of the stomach. And we're going to take some time here. This can be quite intense, and we'll do some stretches as we learn to relax into the muscle to make sure it's opening, getting more length. And then we roll down a little bit. So we're just going to do a small movement. It's going to be into the belly and then just down to here to finish. So find this bone, roll onto it, and then just roll a little bit up, just a little bit up. So you feel how it's arcing. It eventually arcs over and then attaches into the sacrum. So you want to feel that area, turn this way, and breathing in, lift, and breathing out, stimulate that bone. See how much you can sink down and soften around. The bone is softening in a sense into the ball. Breathing in. So our bones get hard and dry and brittle as we get older, and this stimulates collagen and fluids. It makes your bones younger and stronger, believe it or not, and more flexible, so they're less prone to shatter or break from impact because they have this resiliency, which is healthy. what younger people have. That's why younger people can often fall and nothing happens. And an older person falls and they break because they've gone brittle. Now, a little bit roll down so you're right on the pinnacle of that point, and then roll a little bit inward. So I'm moving my pelvis this way. The ball's now moved into my abdomen. And you want to take a moment here because that takes some thinking. Now, you want to see if you can feel the ball cradling the inside of the bone. If you can't feel it, it's okay. You feel what you feel. It takes time for the body to let go of tension and allow things to relax and receive pressure. Breath in, breath out, sink. I will often literally go down on the floor and drop my head down so I can focus. Breath in, breath out. See if you can separate, get a sense of what the abdominal tissue is inside and separate it from the bone on the inside if you can dig into there. Breathing in, breathing out. By the way, this can be done with a silver ball as well. Now, once we've dug in, I want you first we'll take the leg. Do you see how I have my toe curled and I'm stretching my knee as I'm wrapping my pelvis down around it. I can feel the whole attachment right into my adductor right now. Breathing in, breathing out, and lengthening my heel away and pressing down into that ball. Breathing in and breathing out. Now, another nice thing is to take the arm and stretch it out as well. So you have a full, you're trying to keep the muscle very long, and I'm pulling my ribs away. Now, keeping the pressure down, you can keep your arm out or not. I'm keeping my pelvis wrapped around, and I'm going to start to, I'm taking the foot out a little bit, and I'm rolling it outwards. So now you can do it with your toe down, rolling the leg in and out. But you want to do that so you probably are starting to feel the whole range of what this muscle is connected to, because often people can start to feel where it's connecting right into your thigh area. You want to see if you can get that and start to encourage this movement to free up. So now we're going to move a little bit further down. Big breath in, pushing into the ball. I'm literally pressing my muscle into the ball, pressing my hip down and rolling down. So the ball is going down towards my groin, and I drag myself up a little bit, and I'm still tractioning the ball slightly away from the bone of the pelvis towards my midline to create more space in there. Big breath in, reaching my arms and my heels away from each other, breathing out, relaxing. Breathing in, reaching and extending the heel away, breathing out, pressing. Now I'm also pressing my pubic bone and hip bone down. Get even more dig in that area. Breathing in and breathing out. Now stay relaxed into the ball, and I'm just going to mention something. This can be very intense. If you're new to this, or you haven't done it for a while, or it's one of those days where you have a lot of tension in your abdomen, it can be painful. So if you monitor the amount of pressure you put in, if it's a lot, you can literally lift off. So it's not so much pressure, and then you control the entrance into the ball by what your body's ready to do. You don't want to push into something that's excruciatingly painful. You want to penetrate and enter an area with a lot of respect, because there is pain, there's trauma, there's a lot of fear locked into our abdomen, and digestion and elimination. There's so much stuff down there, it's crazy. So with that in mind, roll a little bit more down. So now I'm just about at my groins, and on top of that area, there's a lot of lymph nodes there. So breathing in and pressing my pubic bone and pelvic bone down, reaching my arm and heel away. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Lengthening, reaching the leg especially away from the hip. And then slowly attempting to move the leg in and out. Freeing up the hip a little bit, allowing that muscle to start to allow full range of movement to come back. It doesn't even matter if you have very little movement. You're kind of WD-40ing something that may have been unoiled for many, many, many years. And then all we're going to do is roll into the muscle shaft of the thigh to wrap up. So start lengthening yourself forward. You're going to roll between the groin and the pelvis, between the pubic bone and the hip bone, and just roll into the top of your thigh. And just take a moment here. Feel the connection. You probably got in touch with how the leg is connected in. It connects in there. And just, I like to roll down a little bit more just for good measure. And then come off. And lie on your back. And take a moment to feel just what you did, because a lot can go on. And also rotate the legs in and out. See if there is any difference that you notice. You might as well do both of them so you can have a comparison point. All right, we have the same journey on the other side. So we are going to come back. Get onto that bone, and so you find your hip bone in the front. Always go, so the hip joint, hip bone, pelvis, those names are a lot of words that can be very gray. So now roll up just a little bit. So you're kind of at the top there. That's really the start. So you want to feel the pressure into the top. Breathing in. Breathing out. Sink into the bone. You can put your head down. It's a little tricky because your other side of your body wants to fall. If it needs to, you can let it. But if you can hold yourself up, that's even better. So you can put the pressure into the pelvis. And breathing in, breathing out, putting the pressure in there. And now roll down a little tiny bit. So you're coming right down. You're cradling the sharp point of the pelvis. And you're rolling in. So it's inside that little bow-like part. You're attempting to get inside that bone and push it out. So you're looking to open up and widen the front of the pelvis. Big breath in here. Breathing out, sinking and cradling that bone. Very different feeling from the other side. Breathing in. Lengthening the front of the stomach, breathing out. And breathing in. And breathing out. Now let's take the arm and the leg and stretch them a little bit away. So you feel that length happening up. Very long. Press into the stomach, and now I'm rolling the ball a little bit more towards the navel area, or the midline. It's below the navel, really. And start to rotate your leg. Just move it in and out. And take a breath in. Reach your heel away from you to get that length. Breathing out, relax. Breathing in, pressing the pelvic bone down and pressing your heel away. And breathing out, relax. And again, heel goes away, the whole side gets long. Breathe out. And then roll a little bit downwards. So we're moving down a little bit inside the bone, in our belly, so to speak, halfway between the hip and the spine area, really. Big breath in. Now I'm lifting my ribs away, so I'm tractioning in 2 directions at the same time and breathing out and releasing. Breathing in, I'm stretching the heel away, stretching the ribs away, stretching the arm away, breathing out, relaxing. One more time, breathing in. Everything is pulling away, the point of the heel, the point of the fingers, everything is nice and long. Trying to relax into the ball so it goes deeper and deeper. And then rotating the leg in and out with the ball sinking into the stomach. I have to say, in my body, this side is so much looser, it's ridiculous. Now, moving down, so I'm just above the groin area. I'm not in the groins, but it's kind of, if I press my pubic bone down, I can feel it pressing the whole low shaft of the muscles upwards, including internal organs, lifting them up, making space in there. Breath in, breathing out, lengthening everything out. Breathing in, breathing out, creating even more length. And one more time, breathing in and breathing out. And again, rotating the heel in and out. And then slowly rolling through your groins into the top shaft of the thigh. Feel the leg being tractioned long away from the pelvis. And very slowly drag your body forward to make encourage this idea of how long the legs are and free from your pelvic area, so they can create that knowledge of length. And then roll onto your back and lie down and just feel how your legs feel, how your stomach feels, how your pelvis feels. Wonderful. So let's come up to a sitting position. So we will do one more muscle group. It's the QL muscle, the Quadratus Lumborum. It's actually a very important muscle, 2 muscle bands that connect the pelvis with the rib cage. So this band of muscle will roll from right the top of the pelvis. So we were working on the side. So if you take your hand and you track your own pelvic structure till you get to your spine, we're going to start at the top here. And so it's the top of the pelvis and the spinal column, and then run up to the bottom of the rib cage, going into the ribs slightly. So it's a short, thick band of muscle. It's very much key to make length and lift in the lower back. A lot of lower back problems can be affected by it. If it's pulled and tight, sometimes our stomach and our backs are related to each other. So I thought it'll be a good combination to complement each other. So I'm just trying to think the difference between the balls. The smaller balls are very pinpointy and more specific, and obviously a more small dimension. The bigger balls cover a broader area. People that are new to the work and if they have trouble balancing, bigger balls are better. If there's a lot of pain in the body, if things are really harsh, bigger balls are better because they give you more cushioning and support and comfort and safety. And then the tissue can start to let go. So they're interchangeable. I'm actually going to work with the silver ball today. So let's start by just sitting and feeling the base of the spine on the side. You want to be on one side and then lean back. And once I'm leaning back, because it's a bigger ball, now I can feel the top of my pelvis and where it ends, you could say, and I'm into the beginning of my waist area. So I just want to feel into that area. And also I'm feeling kind of where the sacrum or the spine is and the tissue outside of it. So we will take a breath in and breathing out, press into this area and very slightly angle out, very slightly. So I'm trying to grab that muscle and widen it while my focus is into the bones that it attaches to, which is the top of the pelvis and the spine. Breath in, breath out. My back just adjusted. Breath in, breath out. A little bit more one time. Breath out and slightly lift my hips up. So I'm slightly tucking, very slightly, because I want the spine long. And I want to throw the pressure right into the ball. So I'm rolling up. And because it's a bigger ball, it's tracking both the side of the spine and the muscles that are running from the hips to the ribs. So now I'm in my waist, lower back area. Breath in, breath out, and I'm kind of going this way, just a little bit. So I press and widen that part of my back. Breath in, breath out, widening a little bit. One more time. Breath out, and now I'm rolling up. This is where I just grab my head because I don't want tension in my head. You can get your hips to go down if you want to, because if it's too harsh, or you can keep your hips up. It's up to you. I'm going to keep my hips down because I feel I can get more pressure and then also relaxation as I breathe out. Breathe in. So now I can feel my ribs. And it's the spine and the sides of the ribs. Breathe out. And I'm slightly trying to, when I lift my bottom, it's like I'm trying to, let's see, actually, if I grab the leg, I can literally create traction. Because we're always looking to see how can I create traction in the muscle with the pressure. Yeah, that actually works very nicely. Pressing. Then rolling just a little bit more. So now I'm at the base of the ribs. I'm mostly on my ribs. So that's kind of where they all finish. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And traction a little bit. And traction a little bit. One more time. So we'll be very long-waisted on this one side. And then just for a minute, roll off. Feel your back. Always amazes me how easy it is for my back to go much more flat on the floor when I just do a little work into those muscles. No muscular contraction, actually muscle length. Let's have a go on the other side. So you want to sit with the ball to the side of the spine. I'm leaning back until I find the top of the pelvis. If you need to move your bottom forward, do so. So top of the pelvis on the side, and a little bit the spinal column. So breathing in, pressing into the ball, breathing in, breathing out. My dog just walked by with a big, kind of one of those bones things that I buy in the pet store. It looks like a big cigar in his mouth. Breathing out. Oh, yes. Really pressing into that area, stimulating the bones, stimulating the tendons, stimulating the muscle shaft. Lifting my hips up, rolling up a little bit, so now it's in my lower back. In my case, I'm letting my hips drop. I feel I can get more benefit there. Breath in. Breathing out, pressing and very slightly tractioning away from the spine. Intentionally tractioning that way. Breath in, breath out. So I can still feel my spine, but the focus is to get the muscle long and a little bit removed from the spine, because that's where all the attachments are. So I want to open them up. Breath in again, I'm lifting my bottom and moving a little bit more up. So now I'm into the base of the ribs. It's amazing how short the space between the pelvis and the rib cages. Breath in, breath out. I like to lean a little bit more back because it feels it gives me more leverage. Breath out. And lifting. And I'm kind of trying to imagine tractioning. I'm rolling up just a little bit more and lowering down and kind of leaning sideways. Breathing in, breathing out. Big breath in, breath out. Yeah, so nice. And breathing out, pressing in. Let me lengthen the thighs away, pressing and rolling up just a little bit to feel this traction into the ribs. Now the ribs are being lengthened away from the pelvis, just in general. And then roll off. And again, lie down. Oh, my spine feels so good right now. Lengthen your legs out and just take a moment. You want to scan your body, see what it feels like. See what is touching the floor, what feels relaxed, what feels like it's still tight or holding. Does one side of your body feel very different from the other? Just want to notice things, no judgment. Just observations, because we're changing always, every moment, all the time. And we want to keep imprinting things that we like, how things feel when we feel good. And then let's come to a sitting position. Just sit. See what it feels like to sit. What do your hips feel like? We worked into the stomach. What do your thighs feel like? What does your back feel like? And let's stand up and just do a little bit of walking to see what how our posture has been affected by today. So let me just do this. So you just want to stand and feel yourself kind of, what does it feel like? And just take a few moments and just walk back and forth on your mat or anywhere and see if it feels a little bit different. So again, you can anchor in the feeling. I'm hoping you feel more vertical and that your head feels more upright. It's easier to keep your head looking straight forward instead of down, because we're a forward culture now. Everything's forward. And that there's more of a lift in your body that you're not doing because of muscles, but because you release the muscles. So they're like fluffed up and uplifted. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope you will have a very vertical weekend. And I will end the recording now. And